right, everybody, let's do a brief audio and visual check before we get started. How's everybody trading? How's everybody's trading day today? Scared you, Rick? Looks good, sounds good. All right, give me a few moments while I get a few things set up on my end. Good, fair enough. Lost half? Lost half of what? It was wild. Yeah, it was. Music scared you. All right, let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Slow Markets. In the YouTube chat, we all know that's the top step risk disclosure. Everything that I go over tonight, as always, is for educational purposes only. It's not a signals class, and it's not financial advice. Now, let's jump into it. I'm going to be a little bit quick, going through the rapid fire, and then we'll get to some questions, get in depth, maybe do some trade review, and talk about this market. Was a very interesting one today. Very interesting. So, NASDAQ daily chart. Here we go. Let me get everything set up nice and clean. It's interesting. I don't know what to make of today. It was very interesting price action. It just normal, I guess, for the NASDAQ. I'm doing a lot of comparison to the price action that we seen here back in November. I don't have too much reference other than that. Maybe something like back in June, and just going through, looking on this daily chart and just seeing like, okay, how is price reacting right now? It's a new year. We're in the end of February, right? Going into the end of February. It's February 20th, mid to late February. And we had 3 days of consolidation. We everything that's going on the markets. We do have data coming out tomorrow, correct? Let's see. We should have. Oh man, we got a lot of look at all this news coming out. Not just in the U.S., but the UK, French, German, Eurozone, more UK speakers. But I think this is going to be important for tomorrow. I do believe that the PMI would be PMI is going to be very important for tomorrow. And then just one Fed speaker tomorrow morning. And then, it's going to be interesting. Tomorrow's Friday. This is Friday's price action right now. And, this is just such an interesting market that there's not really much to talk about here on the daily. You can see this is the resistance area we broke out. We've been holding above it. We tried to break down today. The interesting thing is, look where we went to. See these little 2 points that we made back on, what is this, the 10th and the 31st of January? And then we look to the left and you're like, okay, we completely rejected that. I was thinking we had more room to the downside. And then we start to look at what's this price action. We've been kind of hovering in this zone. We've been in a consolidation. We sold off. We didn't hold this sell-off. We rallied right back into it. And then we start to look at the hourly chart. And if you want to define buy the dip, right? Buy this dip. Like that's what this definition has been. And I mean, any one of these sell-offs, like name it, go back throughout this time. And, of course, some are a lot more dramatic than others because this was, Friday afternoon into Sunday night. But all of these sell-offs have been met by buying. So all of these sell-offs have been met by buying, has been met by higher price, and I don't see this being any different. I really don't, to be honest. I mean, we take a look at the daily, and sure, from the daily chart, it does kind of look like maybe we could see continuation, maybe some are further selling off. But we got to realize, what are we trading? What is this market? This market is a bundle of blue chip stocks, right? It's tech. And we didn't really have anything that we seen back in November. November, when we made that decision, when we started to sell off, we finished near the lows of the day, and then we just continued to sell off, right? And that's kind of how it's been on these major sell-offs, is you kind of finish at the lows of the day. We didn't do that. We didn't really do that at all. It doesn't mean we can't sell off. We do have that PMI tomorrow, which is going to be very important, but I'm up for buying it. I'm up for buying this market. The question I have going into tonight, into tomorrow, is, this was resistance. This resistance became support, not once, not twice, but freaking last night when I was in short, I was thinking I was thinking we was going to get that sell off overnight. Unfortunate. I'm not going to argue over making $2,000 in an overnight trade. That trade last night that I was in, everyone's seen, it did end up stopping me out for a $2,000 gain. I moved my stop loss to in the money. I'll go over that. I went to bed and it stopped me out. But, we did immediately break back above that area, right? Where you could see where this is a decision zone. I think that's it. This is a decision zone. The question I have is, are we going to just break to the long side and then we just come back up to this area? Do we just come back up to the highs of the consolidation, and this was just one big run of liquidity, right? That would I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of traders thinking that, this is just a major sell-off. We pull back. Now we're going to see continuation. I'm not on that boat right now. I'm for the boat that this market is, going up and to the right. And every one of these dips have been very nice and very buyable. And so why would this be any different, right? Why is this time different? I don't see that. I really don't. It's hard, and it's easy to overreact on those moments. Now, in the moment when we're selling off and it has a lot of momentum, it's amazing. It really is amazing. And you could get in with the momentum like you see in fast markets this morning or during the New York session. It was amazing. House account got in with the momentum. We got a pullback. You get in with that, and there's some great trading. Love the volatility when it's consistent, right? I like volatility. Us as traders love volatility, consistent volatility. I don't like choppy volatility. I struggle with that. Messy, choppy, not organized. But today we've seen more uniform volatility on this sell-off. And now I'm going to look for opportunities to buy this. I really am. The question is, do we see something like this where it doesn't really give us an opportunity to buy it? When we have a sell-off and we just go straight up, we did have a decent move. So if we're measuring like average true moves and we just go by something like this, we've already made that, right? We've already made an average true move to the long side intraday, like pretty dang close. If we measure these rallies that we've been seeing on this NASDAQ, it's hard for me to buy it because it feels overextended, and based off of just how this NASDAQ has been reacting, this seems like it is overextended. But just because it is overextended doesn't mean we just can't keep going, right? There's plenty of times where we rally up, and look at this for another example. This was February 12th, big rally, right? We followed. Well, first it was how big of a sell-off was that? 340 point sell-off. 340 point sell-off. So 340 point sell-off followed by a major rally, and then we just had some barcoding on the hourly chart, and then continuation. And so here we are. Today it wasn't that dramatic. It was 270 points, and then we've rallied, and now we're starting to see some barcoding. So patient pays. I'm non-biased going into tonight. Just waiting to see what that news is going to be, the PMI, see how this market's going to be reacting. We can continue to zoom into a 5-minute chart. We could continue to zoom into the 5-minute chart and see it's pretty clean. It's pretty clear, right? After that major sell-off, man, ironically, I ended up getting lucky, and I was short in my personal account from 218, and I covered my last contract in my personal account at 960. I got lucky. It doesn't happen all the time in my personal account. The fact that I was able to catch this entire move in my final contract was just luck. Today was one of my better trading days I've had today was my best trading day of 2025. So that's been great. I never expect anything like this to happen for me to catch this exact move. And you guys seen me shorting last night. Unfortunately, I got stopped out. But yeah, this is an interesting market. I would be up for looking for dips to buy. Maybe are we breaking the trend right now? Right? Are we going to see rejection and continuation down? I don't know. I would love to see a nice pullback and then more market structure, and then look for this market to continue back up. Other than that, I think I'm just going to sit on my hands and wait, and let's see what this market does. Referring to the NASDAQ primarily. Referring to the NASDAQ, I'm going to jump over to the Nikkei real fast. Oh, okay. Well, this market's just going straight up. Oh my. Wow. What is going on? Well, that was some buying opportunities, huh? Down here. That was buying opportunities. That, sure enough. I mean, what? Pattern, price action, pattern. Where do you buy it? Where do you buy it when it gets down to here? Lots of Bank of Japan news. I don't know if I would have even tried to catch that one. If you caught it, great work. Dang. I mean, what? Well, if you're not in this move, I don't know if you could even wait and catch it. How big of a move is that one? I mean, it's 1%, so there's definitely room to continue. There's definitely room to continue. Now, there is something you could see where we've been in this nice trend. So maybe what I like to see is, I don't know if we'll see it, but sometimes we'll get a nice pullback, and if we get this nice pullback, then I'll look for that continuation. So you can see this is actually nice and clean, right? Nice clean trend, rally, sell off, rally, sell off, and now we broke through that. So if we get a pullback, I think I would be interested to buying a pullback down here towards these 600s. Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. That's where I'm interested in. Here on the Nikkei. All right, let's move on. Then we'll get to some questions. Let's take a look at crude oil. Now, I did finally reset this account. So this is a fresh account. This is one where every trade I take in slow markets, it's going to be recorded here. Well, going forward in my slow markets class, this is kind of what do we want to call it? A test. I don't know. We'll try and find some overnight trade setups throughout slow markets, placing trades in this account, leaving them overnight, reading the statistics, understanding risk reward, win trade percentage, and go through there. So, yeah, let's take a look at crude oil. It's been sell. This is a 5-minute chart. Let's take a look at the hourly, and I think this is just another I think this is just another rally that we could sell. I really do. I mean, we're in a downtrend. We are in a downtrend, and this very well could just be just another rally that we could sell. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced in the buyers here in crude oil. This might actually be our first trade in slow markets, to be honest. It would be, what I would actually like is, let's see, 72.45. This could be a decent trade in this first slow markets count. I'll move to gold in a moment. What I would like to see is put a sell. We could actually just short this right here. Let's just go ahead and short this. And what I want to change this to. So this will be the first slow markets trade in this account. And this will be an overnight trade, that's for sure. And let's walk through it. Let's talk through it. We're in a downtrend, right? Very simple, very straightforward. And obviously, the way to trade this market is selling off. We have a nice rally, and then we have a continuation down in the direction of the trend. And we're looking at this. I'm looking at this, and we had a nice run up, test, sell off. And we just tried that. A lot of times here in crude oil, we get a liquidity run stops, right? Where we have a fake out in one direction and then we go the opposite direction. So I like this. The stop loss would probably need to be up on the other side. I could see taking profit down here to this low end, just walking through this trade. That is not that great of a risk reward. I'm not liking that. And so what I want to do is zoom into a 5-minute chart and see, okay, is there any opportunity to limit my risk? Can I limit my risk? And the first thing I'm seeing is yes. I believe that this could be a decent opportunity right here to limit risk. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten up my stop. And that puts us out just a little bit better than a 1-to-1 risk reward. And yeah, that's simple, straightforward. Stop loss is in a good area. You might even make an argument to move it a little bit higher. I'm going to do that a little bit higher. The only reason for a little bit higher is because we have this but we have this resistance. So I'm okay with the stop loss being just above that, because you never know. Overnight, we might get something where we do that, right? And we have a nice run there. I'm okay with each of these. But for the first trade in this account, let's just get a nice 1-to-1 risk trade. We are going with this trend on a higher time frame. We are short oil, and yeah, we'll see where we go. Now, this could definitely be one where if we're in multiple contracts, like 2 contracts, we can have one take profit here, and then maybe a hold a runner, because, it would be very realistic. What if we can't, if this move continues to sell off like this, very well, we could have a runner down into these lower 70s. So far, so good. I like it. First trade in this new account. Let's move on to gold, what everybody's been talking about. And yeah, nothing special. I mean, you guys are probably zoomed in on a smaller time frame reacting over this sell-off, right? I mean, look, major sell-off here, major sell-off here, and gold is range-bound. Gold is definitely range-bound through this area, and very similar to what I was just talking about in crude oil. See, resistance, resistance, resistance. This is a nice resistance area, resistance zone. We had a fake out right here, it looks like today, where we tried to rally up, faked out. Everyone who was long, or short, everyone who is short here, maybe they closed their positions, got stopped out, and now here we go. The question is, do we see this continued sell-off all the way back down to the lower end towards $2,900? Can we see gold return back down to $2,900? That, I think, is the question that we're looking at. That's the question I'm looking at right now. It's hard to short gold, that's for sure. Tonight, how big of a move was this? it's just 0.6%. That's not too big still. It could get worse. We could see this market pick up that momentum back down here to this lower end. Like, see these big dramatic sell-offs? This could very well continue. This can continue. I would like to see how gold reacts to maybe where we're at. Maybe we see some type of support coming in here at around 44, 43. And yeah, I wouldn't be against a short on gold. I know we've already came so far so fast, but I would not be too surprised if we get some type of a sell-off. I'd probably target like these 920s. 920s. I don't know about targeting all the way down here, these 2900, but some visual targets you could see would be something like this. Visual targets right here to the downside. Are we getting a nice bounce? We are. Not much of a bounce, I wouldn't say. But I could see gold respecting this. I don't know whether there's some discretion there on how you want to put that. All right, let's get to some questions. Go through there. 1 second. Okay, on crude, how come you don't mind the uptrend it's currently in? Do you just think that the buyers are stronger? Bro, I don't know what you mean by that. I don't mind the uptrend that crude is in, because crude's not in a uptrend. And well, it depends on your time frame, right? Because this is crude oil. Yeah, this... did I just mess something up? It's okay. So this is crude oil. You could say on the 5-minute chart, this is an uptrend, right? It's an uptrend in crude on the 5-minute chart. You could probably zoom into a 1-minute chart. It depends on your time frame. But my overnight trade setups, my slow markets trades, it's based on the hourly chart. And on looking at a top-down point of view, and in no way would I say this is an uptrend. This is pretty bearish. It's been selling the rallies. And until we start to see more consolidation, maybe better, obviously I could be wrong, and this market just rips higher. But for me, and the way I like to see it, is I want to see more consolidation right here. Crude can easily consolidate. Maybe we could even continue back down. But there's a lot of bearish pressure that we've seen starting the 2025 year. There's tons of bearish pressure. And every one of these rallies have been selling opportunities, right? Even as we start to zoom in, there's been selling opportunity after selling opportunity. And every time we do end up finding some nice buyers, it just gets sold off. It happened there. It happened right here. And it happened, just yesterday. And so now the question is it going to happen again, right? The trend's going to keep happening until it doesn't. And, as this continues, I want to position my trades with the patterns and what the market's currently doing. So it depends on your time frame. Everyone sees the market differently, or at least they should. And yeah, there's even a world where I would even have a trade set up like this. This would be a decent trade setup, to be honest. This is not a bad trade setup, but just for the sake of slow markets and just for the sake of what we're talking about tonight, it's just a little more of a one-to-one. Andre, yeah, no, it wasn't just me, Andre. That was you. That was Nick for a tick. That was everybody involved. If you guys missed it, if everybody missed it, rewatch Fast Markets today. That was one of the best examples of pure day trading in a live market that you probably will ever see online. Too many times, yeah. It's second. That was second to none, Andre. I don't think I've ever seen I might lie, because I would even argue that there's other days here at Topstep where we've had amazing days like that. Even during power hour, there's one I remember where Mohammed and the house account was long, and the market had like the end of day short squeeze. There's been some amazing moments on Topstep TV during fast markets, power hour, even like throughout. So today was one of them. Today was one of them during fast markets. It's hard to do a comparison, but it was up there. I would say maybe top 5, top 10. It was something else, though. It was amazing. Live. They were all live accounts. There's no arguing that. I know the social media would always, it's you can't get that stuff anywhere else. You really can't. I downloaded today's fast markets. Oh, wow. And downloaded that. Okay. So, not much else going on. We went through these markets. We'll continue to go through these markets. We'll let this gold trade work out. Or not this gold trade. Gold is selling off, but we'll let this crude oil trade work out. Now remember, this is slow markets, and this is an overnight trade. And so this is the slow markets account. So let's do that. Every trade I take for slow markets in this class for educational purposes only, we'll be able to review the statistics. So after this trade's done, we'll continue to analyze the statistics every single day. We'll go through this. We'll talk about the trades, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Were some trades bad? Were some trades good? What could we do better? And kind of go through this as a slow markets class. So if you tune in frequently, you have that luxury of just like it's a full class, right? Andre, I'm just along for the ride with you guys. No, Andre, you are a big part of that for sure. Andrew, Stanley passing this combine live is number 1 for me. Yeah, that's up there. That's up there. Yeah, I think you could definitely classify Topstep TV in different segments, right? For pure live account trading, what happened this morning was second to none. In the Topstep TV, what you guys see in the house account, in what myself and Nick for a Tick did on the Topstep accounts, man, I know if Andre, you're still listening, in my personal account, I had my best day of 2025 where I was short from 218 and closed it at 960, and that was just one of a kind. It's been one of a kind type of day, and that's kind of what we live for, right? We go through the miserable price action that we see the past 2 days, 3 days, and like this is just a mess. Like these 3 days were a mess, but it's patience. It's not blowing your account, and then you wait, and then you wait, and then you wait, and that's the majority of real trading is waiting, right? It is. And sure enough, we were patient, we were waiting, and we caught this. Like this is so beautiful. Not even at the break. We were watching this happen live as it looked like it was going to break out to the long side. I was looking bullish, and it was looking for a moment like we was going to continue. And in like what, a minute we switched. House account closed, market started selling off, and it was just like, how do we short this? How do we short this? And it was just an amazing time. That's for sure. Was futures or options position in personal? Oh, it was futures. Yep. I was just like last night. If you tuned in last night, I was short the NASDAQ. I was short the NASDAQ. Unfortunately, I was short. Well, last night I was short at 218, 219. I don't know. You might have to rewatch last night. But yeah, last night I was short, and it looked like we was going to have that sell-off overnight. Unfortunately, we bounced. I got stopped out in the positive. I got stopped out for plus 2,000 in my live account. So I started Topstep TV off in the positive, plus 2,000. And then we got this massive sell-off, and then both Nick for a Tick and myself, we ended up shorting this pullback. So we had that massive sell-off, and then we had this bounce, and I got in short. Nick Vertic got in short. I believe Nick Vertic was short in the ES. So trading two different markets, two different trading styles. And I was able to catch, half of this move. But Nick Vertic held, and Nick Vertic caught a bigger piece of that move. Nick Vertic is an amazing trader. He was trading the ES, I believe. So let's take a look at the ES. And I'm sure you probably hear it through the way he trades. I don't know exactly his trades. That's why I say tune in, rewatch that. But yeah, Nick Vertic caught a bigger piece of that. It was a thing of beauty. Definitely you need to download that Fast Markets and rewatch it a few times. Put that on the mantle. It was nice. What do I think about the new dashboard? I haven't spent a lot of time on it. What is it? If you tune in, if you watch the day show, you can see that there's invites for the new dashboard, and it's amazing. It really is. MP was on with us for Fast Markets near the second half of Fast Markets, and he talked pretty good, in detail about the dashboard and everything about it, and I like it. G-Man says he got an invite. It looks pretty dang cool. It just, I tell you what, Topstep X, this platform, it's still less than a year old, right? When's its birthday? When is the birthday? The platform's birthday has to be coming up. I'm going to have to find out. When is Topstep X's birthday? Because it should be coming up. It's still less than a year old. And then not only Topstep X, but yeah, new platform, new look. It's going to be so amazing. I love Step X. I'm trying to transfer over right now. Yeah, then I got DoorDash for breakfast. It was so fun. I could tell you. So a little bit behind the scenes. This is kind of how it works. I was scheduled to on Fast Markets. I'm usually not scheduled for Thursdays, right? Everyone knows that I'm not on Fast Markets for Thursday mornings. But they're like, yeah, let's just have you. It was weird how it worked, Andre. If you were listening, I was not scheduled for Thursday, and then the team reached out and like, hey, let's spice some things up, and you want to come on and join us on Thursday morning, until 9:45 or until 10:45. Leaving a little bit early. I'm like, you know what? Sure. And as fate would have it, yeah, it was like things lined up, and then I'm like, okay, do I need to get, like, do I leave? I got my breakfast ready. I ordered breakfast on DoorDash. I could cancel a meeting. Markets are moving. Things are going. It's such a smooth yeah. Don't change if everything's going smooth. So Topstep is always flexible when it comes to TopstepTV. When things are going good, when the markets are moving, that takes priority. It's like, all right, what meetings do we have? Cancel them. We're trading. So that was fun. That was a little bit of behind the scenes, and it's crazy. It really is. Dakota, where are you trading whenever you're not on TopstepTV in the morning session? What do you mean? What do you mean, Alejandro? Where am I trading? I'm trading on my computer. I'm not sure I understand that question. My DoorDash driver eats my food. X is so user-friendly. Yeah, Topstep X is so user-friendly. I made that comparison where I have my own personal broker, and I try and do similar things on their platform, and I have a difficult time. I'm used to Topstep X, and the features that I'm used to, it's very user-friendly. But out of all of that, right, I could get used to getting to know how to place a trade and close it and enter an order and get used to that. But what takes the cake for me, it's these risk management settings. It's the fact that you can lock yourself out. It's the fact that you could, put a limit on how many trades per day, put a limit on how many trades per week. and do this. I have not seen a broker that will do this, at least for me in my own personal experience. I have not seen a platform where I could go in and manually set this up so quick and easy. There's probably some complex way of doing it, but for me, just as I'm trading, I can just go over here, click a button, and boom, everything's right there. And I can't even tell you how many times I would recommend this to traders. You know what? I was even saying my VIP team, my VIP team, I had a meeting with them today, and I said, and Coach Hoop, let me know what your thoughts on this. How cool would it be if the Topstep VIP coaches had a blanket risk management system where if I set this in like a master account, everybody on my VIP team is forced to abide by those parameters. Like I would love to do that. I said, okay, everybody in the VIP team, everyone has 100,000 or 100K combine. Okay, you are now set at 1 trade or 2 trades per day and 10 trades per week, and you can no longer lose, and you cannot lose more than $100 per day. I would love that. It would piss them off. It would piss all the VIP leaders off, or VIP team members off. But as a coach and for my 50 traders, I would love that. I really would. It's a slippery slope. Nope, it's not. It's not. This is personalized to each individual coach and their VIP team. And that's basically what I told them today. I said, if I had the power to tell everybody, you must set these like a certain parameters and you must trade like 1 or 2 micros, I would make you do that for 3 months. I would make every single team member on my VIP team to trade 1 to 2 micros, maybe 3, for up to 3 months. And just like, hey, let's see you do this. You trade 1 to 3 micros for 3 months, and you can't get into a position bigger than that, and then report back to me. I don't think they shouldn't be blowing that account, right? It's very hard to blow an account with a single micro or 3 micros, and then you get that. It's just like, well, it's not worth my time. I'm not going to make money. I feel like it's boring. I'm like, yeah, that's what real trading is. Real trading is boring. It's about developing those fundamentals. It's about building that process, because every single trade you take, you need to think about a year from now. You need to think about 2 years from now. And that's what it is. It really is. And then I demonstrated it. I said, do you know how much money you can make over a period of a year trading 1 micro? 1 micro. I demonstrate it all the time. Like if we come over, like here we go. Look, I will demonstrate it. I will demonstrate it over and over and over again. Let's pull up the NASDAQ micros and let's watch this. So if I was to focus only on micros, you need to think on the process, right? You figure out a process and you think about points. We think about points. We always have to think about like some type of points. I have mine on points right here. And, it doesn't matter how much money you make or lose at this stage in your career, your trading career. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It does not matter if you make 1,000, lose 1,000. It does not matter how much money you make, and it does not matter how much money you lose if you are learning how to trade. What matters more is how you develop your own process. Okay, you could worry and figure out about that stuff later, about how much you're going to be making and scaling up or scaling down and all that. What matters the most right now in this point in time, as you're learning, right? This is assuming you're not a professional trader already. This is assuming you're not a great trader and you're already making money and you already have your own process. This is assuming that we're just new traders. We're trying to become consistent. We're trying to what do you want to call it? Get our first payouts. the most important thing is just developing a process. And I explained it. I was like, yeah, if I'm going to trade micros, look, you got to think of it. It's not, micros are pretty useful. If I'm going to just jump in this market, look, this is my live account, and I don't mind showing this in my live account. How stressed am I, right? How much stress would a trader feel with one micro? I don't care what happens, right? I don't care what happens. What's the worst thing that could happen? As long as I have a stop loss in, let's say I could lose 100 points right now. You should not care. A micro helps you not care about the result of an individual trade. One micro. I do not care about this individual result. If I make 10 points, if I lose 10 points, that helps. I see it help all the time. And once you get to the point to where you do not care about an individual trade, the faster you're going to be able to become a consistent and profitable trader. It's true. It's a fact. The moment you start getting in too big of size, if this was 10 minis, I wouldn't be able to look away from the screen. If this was 10 minis, traders, their palms will get sweaty. They'll get nervous. They'll just like focus. They'll over adjust. They'll overthink every little move in the market. They'll be switching time frames. They'll be overthinking. They'll be checking the news. They'll be like, okay, it's not happening. We're getting a wick. Well, this is bearish. They forget about their process. They overreact. They overmanage. And nothing good ever comes from that. This, I don't care what happens. If I follow a process, for example, if I'm saying that this is a high, this is a higher low, and I'm looking for this market to break out and come and test these 53s, maybe something like this, and I don't care what happens. I could go step away from this computer screen, and regardless of how this trade plays out, I do not care. You just have to get to that point. Do not care about an individual trade. Focus on the process. Focus on the process. Once you develop that process, you can scale. You could then work on other aspects. It doesn't matter. And it's hard. It's hard because you're looking at the P&L. Traders focus on this P&L, and who cares about $3, right? It's like, oh my, I just spent it's just like $3. What's that doing, right? That's not much. That's not worth my time. But that's not the point. That's not the point. The same way you can make $3 or $4 or $5 dollars is the same way you do it. I know this because I've done it. It's a fact. Is the same process I can make, say $10 on this trade it is for a fact the same process. You guys see me on fast markets. You see me on slow markets when I'm trading 5 minis, right? So let's say if I close this out for, say, plus 2 points, yeah, that's $4. But 2 points on 5 minis, that's $200, right? It's the same process. We're trading markets that are so liquid that you don't see too much of a difference between 1 mini versus 5 minis. Not until you start getting into like 20 or 50 minis will you ever start seeing much of a difference. Even then, these markets are so liquid, you follow the same process and very rarely need to change it when it comes to the size. When it comes to the size, that's what I'm referring to. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take this $1.50 loss. Okay, $1.50 loss, minus $5. There we go. My stats are going to look good now. My risk reward per trade just got a nice little bump. That's what I should be doing, huh? If I cared about what people thought, I'd come in here and have a whole bunch of little $2 losses, and then when they take a screenshot of the big board, they'll be like, oh my gosh, he's such an amazing trader. His average losing trade's like $5. And then when he wins, it's like 500. We could skew these statistics. I'm gaming the statistics. Hey, at the end of the day, when you're in the live account, the only thing that matters is, do you make money? Once you get to a live account, that really is the only thing that matters. Do whatever you want. If you could make money in a live account, do it. Am I teaching bad habits? Am I teaching bad habits? It's about making money, placing good trades. Just don't buy a coffee tomorrow and you made it back. Dakota, how much P&L you have made on a live account, not including XFAs or account balance, just pure P&L realized in live? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question, Pinkman. I don't know. I took one big payout, but yeah, I've told everybody over and over again. I've even posted on social media like 3 times. Yeah, that's how prop firms work. The majority of my account balance came from XFAs. You can't deposit money into a prop firm. You have to go through that prop firm's process, right? Combines to XFAs. You make money in XFAs and you get transferred to life. And I made really good money in XFAs, which is it's not money coming out of the markets. It's just money in a simulated account. And then Topstep, funded my live account. But I don't know exactly the dollar amount I've made specifically from that. Why trade at night if you can trade early? Markets, these futures market, there's opportunity. There's always opportunity in these futures markets. Obviously, look at that. Look at this market rally now. You guys seen every single night I talk about it. We talk about it. Some people, like Topstep is international. Topstep has traders from around the world, and not everybody has, the New York session free in order to trade. Okay, let's get that. Like that should be, just understand that first. Okay, is Topstep's international. There's traders around the world, and not everybody has the New York session free to trade. I learned how to trade when I was really young. Going to school, then college, and then getting a part-time job. I did not have the luxury to trade during the New York session. I would wake up and I would go to school. After school, I would have a part-time job. And then after that part-time job, I did schoolwork and obviously eat food, try and shower, some basics, right? And then I had about 1 hour each night before I went to bed. I'm Mountain Standard Time. 1 hour each night before I go to bed. At this time, it's around this time. It wasn't the same time every night because some nights I had a lot more study. Sometimes I didn't. But 1 hour every night where I love trading. And because I couldn't trade the New York session, I wanted to find a way to trade. Futures allowed for that because they're open, right? They're open from 5 p.m. Central all the way to the close at 4 p.m. Central, Sunday night through Friday afternoon. And I learned how to trade on the higher time frames. So I would trade just like you see me tonight. You see me trade exactly. I start on a higher time frame. I started on the daily, right? You've seen everybody. I started doing, my analysis on the daily. It doesn't take a lot of work. It doesn't take a lot of time or effort because you get one candlestick every day on the daily. So it's really quick and easy. Like, okay, what's changed? Not much. One candle. Okay. Then I'll zoom into an hourly chart and you see how I, talk about the hourly charts all the time. Like, okay, is this going to be this is a support trend line? Is this support trend line going to become a resistance? And then do we see a sell-off, right? Maybe I do something like that. Last night, you seen me talk through it and it's like, okay, I'm going to hold. This is just an example. I'm going to sell the NASDAQ right now, and then I'm going to hold it overnight. Well, just like this crude oil trade that we have going, right? This crude oil trade, exact same. We analyzed it on a higher time frame. I put a trade on. I'm risking $500 to make $540. I'll go to bed. And then when I wake up, the markets either went up, stopped me out, and I lost $500. The markets went down, hit my take profit. I made $540. Or the market is somewhere in between. And then before I went to school, I'll make a decision. Like if I go to bed, I wake up tomorrow, I shower, I get ready, and then right before I get ready to go to school, I would look and say, okay, I either lost $500, I made $500, or it's somewhere in between, and then I'll make the decision. I'm like, okay, maybe we're a little bit lower, we're close to my take profit. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten my stop loss, and then I'll just let this play, and then I'll check it when I get home tonight. And then when I get home tonight, I'll look, and the market from that point would either go up, hit my stop loss, down, hit my take profit, or it would still be somewhere in between that night. And then I'll make the decision again. And like that is how I learned how to trade. Not on minis though. It was micros. I did not have the money to be trading like this. $500 was a ton of money for me. So obviously, as you can imagine, it was micros, trading the same way. And then some stocks, I trade the same way with stocks. And price action is price action. It doesn't matter whether it's a futures market or a stock or whatever it is. I trade it typically the same way. There's little fine nuances, right? There's little fine nuances to each market. The way that each market reacts, the way we look at gold. Oh, gold bounced right off that level, huh? Look at that. Look at that. Gold bounced right off that level. Easy, right? Easy. Hard to buy it when we're down there at that moment, but straight up. Bounced right off that level. Who caught that? Who caught that? Send me a piece of whatever you caught if you were following what I was doing. So yeah, that's why. That is my answer to you. Wherever that question came from is, why do I not only trade the New York session? That is why. I started slow markets. I met with MP last year, over a year ago, when I first found Topstep. I met with MP. He was down at Moab, and I met with him like, hey, I have this great idea. Why does nobody trade the Asian session? And I think he's like, it's just too slow. And they're like, well, it's slow markets. Like, there's so many people out there that does not have the time during the New York session, and especially around the world. Because you can imagine, during this time right now, it's, morning, in the middle of the day, depending on where you're at around the world. You're at work. Maybe it's morning for you, and this is when you can trade. This is your fast market, right? You wake up in the morning, you prepare. These are your markets. You just never know. And that's one thing I loved about MP and Topstep. They're like, yeah, let's do it. That sounds awesome. And then one thing led to another. Here I am, and I've absolutely enjoyed everything. Before I go any further, we still have 30 minutes left, and I have not asked for likes. We need to get to 700 likes before the end of class for me to answer some more questions in depth like that. 700 likes before the end of class, and then I'll answer a couple more of these good questions. I got to ask. Come on, everybody. And there's a couple good questions in here that I see. You gave me the like already? That's okay. Thank you. Yeah, let me refresh. What are we at right now? What are we at? I'm doing a study to see how many likes we could get. Me asking versus me not asking. Yeah, there's a difference between me asking and me not asking. So we're seeing. I never ask. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to answer some of these other questions first before I get to some of the good ones. Dakota, during fast markets, when NQ is selling off, Jack joined in immediately and you waited to short the bounce. Which approach is better? Both could be very good, Desmond. There's no approach or there's no strategy better than the other strategy. It depends on how you manage it. Dakota, you should ask. I have been. I've been putting like if we get to so many likes, then I'll answer some questions. I need to think of some more fun stuff to do. I do. Dakota, you should ask. Do you always trade every day? No, I don't. Sometimes there's days where I don't place a trade. I typically look at the markets every day, though. Unless in 2 weeks, I will not. Actually, I make a note. So in 2 weeks, March 1st, I will be on vacation for the week, so I will not be looking at the markets. So every once in a while, I won't. Andrew, yeah, that's right. You're right. I don't look at the markets on Saturdays. Where am I traveling to? I am going to the Bahamas. The Bahamas. Oh, we have Nikkei going on. Oh, Nikkei. Let's take a look at the Nikkei. We got that pullback. That I was wanting. Am I too late? That's the pullback. Yeah, I think I'm too late. Man, that was right on the money too. Yep, there's that pullback. Look at that. Yeah, the trend line is now support, and it's already bidding up near 60. Yeah, look at this. Why are you late? Because the risk rewards, I mean, the market, it still can be valid, right? The market can still continue, but the risk reward's not there for me because where's my risk, right? Where's my risk? It's hard to put a risk on there. We bounced right off that trend. I want to get in at that trend line, and that's already moving. Dakota, you caught that long, Tom? Nice. That was the most of the trade right there. That little bounce, and then if I'm in like 2 or 3 contracts around 65, maybe with a little bit of slippage, I would have got in around 65, get in 3 contracts around that little area, and then you'd be able to take a couple off on our way up, because yeah, that was it. I was just a little bit slow. Still waiting for those 700 likes, everybody. 700. I know there's enough traders here in the chat to bump them up. Come on, you got to get some likes on calling that trade out. Straightforward. That shows that. Does this answer the question? Is this gambling? Really? Look at this market. There's a missed trade. That would have been a quick $500 bill. Oh well. It's just education. Just education. Not a signal. I'm educating on technical analysis. Technical analysis does work, everybody. It does. It doesn't work 100% of the time, but when it does work, it's a beautiful thing. Where were we at? This is a very basic, simple price pattern. We were right here. Rewatch this stream. This is where we were when I said, I'm going to wait. Typically, you want to see a pullback to this trend line and then see continuation. Correct? It doesn't happen this cleanly very often. And all I could do is just sit here and watch and just like, oh man. This is like window shopping. Window trading. If only. Oh man, look at this. We're pushing up into these 60s now. Trying to get into the 60s. Trump signed an executive order. No. Oh gosh. Yeah, that was a trade. Oh well. Move on to the next. I'm not going to sit here and watch it because it's just... Oh well. That's the reality. There will be another one. There will definitely be another one. For sure. Let's take a look at gold. Gold. You know what? I'm going to say it again. Wow. How is this one? How is this gold trade? Bounce off these 43s, 44s? So I don't know why I don't take these trades. I should be just taking these trades. Sometimes it just feels like, oh, wow, that was easy. Oh, that one was easy. Perfect. Yeah. I don't know what it is tonight, man. Ever since last night, it's like you get in a hot streak. You start to catch a little bit of fire on reading these markets in the zone. You get in the zone, right? That's kind of, is that what's happening right here with me tonight? I'm not placing these trades, but I'm talking about them. Like, yeah, look at this one. We could probably bounce here at 43, 40, 44. And, sure enough, we did. And the same with the Nikkei. So it's the trades you don't take that are the good ones sometimes. Trading in the zone. How about the ES? Remember, this is not a signals class. Not a signals. We still have, yeah. Why not take small risk on those? It's not, no, I'm not going to just take a trade to take it. It's been a while since I traded gold myself, to be honest. The Nikkei, I was going to hop into the Nikkei, but the risk reward was not where I wanted it. I know when I switched over, we were right here. And so, yeah, there was still room left on the board, the bone or whatever you want to call it, but it was hard to manage risk. There wasn't too great of entries. I probably would want my stop loss down here, and my entry would be like right there. And so it's hard to manage risk on that one. I could see myself maybe getting into, like you said, maybe a smaller position and having a tighter stop loss. But yeah, that is what the futures market is about. You're not just watching. It's nice because we have that flexibility to trade different markets. If you don't understand that, that's a beautiful thing about just knowing. Sometimes I catch a lot of crap on the Nikkei. It's like, who trades the Nikkei? Why does anybody trade the Nikkei? The Nikkei is just gambling. Nope, not if you manage your risk correctly. And the Nikkei is like any other market. Technicals play, right? Could you imagine if you are shorting the Nikkei? It's the same thing. We have a nice little rally, sell it. These nice little rallies, sell it. We get this pullback. Technicals play. It doesn't matter what market. Price action's price action. unless somebody could convince me otherwise. I'm open for someone to convince me that that's not true. I'm currently in that same college boat you're in. It might sound dumb, but did you find success, or did you just keep trading for the love of the game? I'm not sure if I understand what you mean by that. So there's two parts to that question. We still need to get 100 more likes. Come on, everybody. 100 more likes, and I'll go in depth on this last question. Well, there's a few more questions I need to get to. It needs to be a routine. You have to love this if you want to be doing it for a while. If you don't love trading these markets, I don't think you're going to find much success. So if you're in that same college boat, if you're in college or if you're struggling, you need to fall in love with the process. Trying to think of, did you make a good amount of money from trading to sustain it, or did college help with the trading and funding it? So I worked a part-time job and I paid my bills with that. So trading is hard enough. Okay. It's very difficult to trade. It's even more difficult to trade knowing that you have to make money to pay the bills. Like, you can imagine how hard trading is, but multiply by that by like 10 if your bills depend on your trading, right? Because that adds a whole nother emotional layer to it. So I don't recommend anybody to just jump into trading full time if they want to depend on the bills being paid, right? I would even argue it should start out as a hobby or something that you love as a part-time side hustle, and have that eventually maybe transition to your full-time. Yeah, because depending on trading to pay your bills it's so hard. It really is. Vivi4, am I in the wrong stream? If you like this video, you can move on to the next stream. Just like it, move on to the next. Even if it's the wrong stream, just like it. Look at this Nikkei pushing up into these 70s. What a move. Do I trade full-time now? Yeah, I've been trading full-time for a while. That's one of my primary incomes. I do have other sources. It's not my sole income. I still think that if I depended on my trading solely to pay my bills, I might a little bit of emotional weight, but it's always good to have multiple streams of income. Trading is a primary source, right? It's not okay. Let me make sure. Trading is such a general term. 40 more likes. Come on, everybody. Almost there. And then I'll talk about if trading is my full-time income. I don't get why it's so hard to get up to 700. It's people just watching, just really not willing to hit a button. Or is 700 too much? Is 700 too much? You know what it is? I think it's like voting. People are not hitting the like button because they think everybody else will. Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. I think there's a lot of traders and people just watching, and they don't hit the like button because they think that someone that, like, the other people will. That's usually what it is. Guarantee you it. That's how I am. It's the same way with voting, right? It's like, you know what? The state that I live in is typically, for this party or that party. Why would I vote when, that all the delegates are going to that one candidate anyway? Is that the same thing with the likes? It's like, yeah, we're just going for 700. There's 1,400. I don't need to like it. You're just waiting for me to say, there you go. Yeah, we've passed it now. We've passed it now. All right, should we end class? Should we end class now that we got the likes? I milked all the likes out of everybody, and now I just dip. That would piss everyone. Would you guys be pissed? Everyone would be pissed. He pushed us to, is that a that's a rug pull? Pile on everyone's likes, forcing everyone to like the video in order for me to answer questions. As soon as I hit it, I just dip. That would be. No, I'll answer it. Remember, tomorrow there is no slow markets, but I think the next stream I'm gonna keep bumping up the target. I started at what, 400, 500, 600, and 8. I think we could get it to 800 my next class. But let me answer this question. Dakota pumping up. Futures trading is not my full income. I am a primary options trader. Options trading is my bread and butter. It's what I make most of my money from. Holding stocks, selling covered calls, selling cash secured puts. More boring than this, if you could imagine. It's very boring. I don't have to manage it very often. And it's longer term options. It's 1 month, 3 months, some 6, and even 1 year out, right? These are very longer term. And obviously with there's other like a CDs, right? CDs, I have Roth IRA. I don't pull out my Roth IRA until I turn what was it, 59 or whatever. CDs getting a percentage, right, off of the cash in that CD, and other ways to generate streams of revenue. And a big part of the way that I love to live is I don't have much in terms of bills. I don't. I last year I went to, I did a little, I'm sure Richard Harris, you probably know. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Richard Harris still knows how much my monthly expenses are. I shared my monthly expenses. I can't remember what exactly when I did it. Dakota has only. It's less than $3,000 a month, and that includes all my food, all like power, internet, like water, my rent. I live in an apartment, and it's less. It's like $2,400. It depends on how much I eat, right? But around $2,400 a month is all I need to live. I've paid off my cars, obviously, so. Yeah, that's about where I'm at. And to make $2,400, I mean, you can see me do it on TopstepTV on the day show relatively frequently. And it's stress-free. I don't have to deal with any of that. Nope, I live in my own place. I'm not gonna. If you tune into slow markets, you probably know the cars I may or may not have. I drive a 2019 Honda Civic. That is the car that I drive. I paid $11,000 for it. It's a great car. I get amazing gas mileage. Amazing gas mileage. Jake, yes. A while ago. A long time ago. Most of what you guys see on the Lambos and stuff, it's just for show. It's weird. It's weird. Social media is a weird place. Once people get into and addicted to people liking and following them, and that's how they make their money, right? Maybe they don't make their money trading. Maybe they make their money by people liking them and like views and links and any of that stuff. Then buying cars and flashy stuff, it's addicting. It's these materialistic stuff that can be very addicting, and you get stuck. I've seen some very amazing people get stuck into a very negative cycle of continuing to buy materialistic things and then selling them and flipping them and buying more materialistic things, and then as soon as the revenue stream dries up, they're kind of lost, right? And then it kind of gets boring. Now, I'm not saying everyone. Some of the most wealthiest people I know, they don't spend money on themselves. It's weird. It can be really, it's really weird once you really think, like, dive into where some of really wealthy people don't like to spend much money on themselves. Some of the most wealthy people, you see them in the street, you'll never know. You will never know that a person has the money and the wealth that they might have. They usually just have a regular T-shirt, and you'll never know. You probably walk by a few of them just down the street, your like regular day-to-day life. NQ catching. Yeah, I'm watching the NASDAQ rally here. This is quite the rally here in the NASDAQ. $15 points. 15 points. 15 points. Yeah, as Warren Buffett said, I eat where I want to eat, or I eat what I want to eat. I sleep where I want to sleep. I'm happy. Defend them. Some of the wealthy people I know have their own space program. Sam Walton, bottom 786 pickup for 20 years. I'm a bad driver. I prefer to be driven. Who knows? Maybe just it depends on where you live too, right? I'm not seeing anything else in these markets, everybody. Let's this crude oil trade's looking pretty good, right? Let's take a look at this crude oil trade. We'll finish it up with our last 10 minutes. Look at this. Working. Something's working tonight. Little bit of a bounce, and now maybe continuation. See if we can break through these 72s. Leave this trade. This is where I'm going to leave it tonight. Nice 1-to-1, a little bit better than a 1-to-1 risk reward. On Sunday night, I'll review this, and then we'll collect some nice statistics. Collect the statistics, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works. We'll see if this account's going to be blown in a month or so. But hopefully I can demonstrate understanding statistics, placing trades, trading slow markets. Will this be profitable? Who knows? Right? Who knows? This is for a class. This is a nice demonstration for the class to understand statistics and trading in general, just like a whiteboard, just like how, like anything, right? Think of college, high school, whatever. And then we'll review this and maybe make adjustments. Maybe like, yeah, is this a better stop or is this a better stop? Is that a better stop? Is this a better take profit? Is this a better take profit? And then go through those same hurdles that I'm sure everybody here in class goes through with their own trading. How do you trade? Like what's better? I get it. Everyone, technical analysis is easy. It's not easy. It's kind of simple, right? Everyone could draw a trend line. Everybody in this chat should be able to go over here on gold and say trend line, right? Everybody in this chat should say, wow, there's a pivot. There's a pivot. If we connect those two pivots, that makes a trend line. Everybody in this class should be able to do that. Now, to execute when the market gets there and manage risk when the market gets there, and then be able to do that during certain times, during certain market conditions, during certain periods, during different markets, managing that risk, doing it consistently, not getting emotional. That is where the trading comes, right? Where anybody could do that. Anyone could buy there, buy there. Yeah, that's a trend, buy it. It's like, okay, how? How much? How much do I buy? How do I buy it? Where do I put my stop loss? Where do I put my take profit? How do I manage it once I'm in it? How do I not mess it up? Everything else like that, that's what makes the difference. It's the same, right? Same with this Nikkei. Same with the way I just talked about the Nikkei. Everybody in this class should be able to draw a trend line connecting those highs. Simple, straightforward, easy, however you want to draw it. Everyone knows trend lines that was resistance can come down and become support. Same exact thing. Same thing. Everybody should be able to draw trend lines like that. It's simple. It's not rocket science. Now, when we get down in this area, same questions. How do you buy it? Where do you buy it? When do you buy it? How big of a position do you get in? Where do you put your stop loss? Where do you put your take profit? Do you scale in? Do you scale out? How much, right? And those are the questions that we need to be asking ourselves. That is where the process needs to be made, is like understanding, is this the right time to be buying and selling? Do we have news tomorrow? Do we have like an event tonight? If there's a Bank of Japan, like maybe there is some major event happening in 5 minutes. Well, of course, you shouldn't be placing a trade in the Nikkei right before the Bank of Japan releases interest rates, right? Just like you shouldn't be selling or buying the NASDAQ like 5 minutes before non-farm payroll or before FOMC. So there's so much that goes into trading that makes it complicated and hard, because anybody could look at Tom Brady, and when you're watching a football game, like, he should have just passed it to that guy. He was open, right? You see that all the time in sports. He should have just did that. He was open, right? If he would have just thrown it, and that was a touchdown. It's so easy to look at it after the fact or on replay or from someone else's point of view than it is to actually execute it in the moment, because there's so much that you really don't see that's going on. Understanding the plays, understanding the players, understanding the play calls, understanding the moments, understanding your game plan, their game plan, what the coach is telling you in the air, and so much that goes into just a simple execution of passing the ball or clicking a button that can make or break. Yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave it. That is my mic drop. I'm going to leave it there, everybody. Thank you for those likes. Next time, we got to reach that 800 like goal. The next class, maybe not Sunday night. Sunday night is a little bit slow. It's only an hour long. But Monday night, I will be on Fast Markets tomorrow morning. Let's make it another good one. Let's see if we can have back-to-back amazing mornings in Fast Markets. I will see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning. If not, Sunday night or the next slow markets. Take care, everybody. Enjoy.